look at this little Jupiter first. This is the first little van that Lunar produced. This would probably be probably one of the very first ones, to be quite honest. See on the top there, the roof, it's called what they call the boat roof, which was quite expensive to make, but it gave you lots of headroom inside. Now, since I saw this van, that was in 2010, they've obviously been doing something with it, or they'd started to before Lunar finished. The van had been resprayed, it's been resealed around. The original badge has gone and that's disappeared. The jock wheel's no longer there, but it's pretty much as it was, as I remember seeing it those years ago. I'll tell you some of the features here. The window has got a very slight, but very slight pull out here, and again, that was quite a fashionable thing back in that particular period. We're talking 1969, 1970. This is classed as a 70 model because that's when really Lunar launched. The stone guard, raw aluminium, that was a common feature. Now, you know all these people going around with the Caravans with covers on the front? Well, that's what you used. It was a stone guard. That's what manufacturers did. They used that, and that was so the stones dented that and not the rest of your Caravan. That was the idea. Some manufacturers carried the stone guard right up to there. And the originators of that was a company called Astral Caravans at Hull, and they invented, if you like, the stone guard. Get round the back here. Yeah, it's had a repaint. It's more of a cream now than the white it was. Originally it's more of an off cream. So it's had a respray, and that's where the restorations come to an end. Now, these sort of lights were very common at the time. Look at these little grab handles, because don't forget these vans are only very light. The triangles at the back would have been added by 1972 because that's when it became law. You had to have triangles on the back of a trailer, Caravan or whatever. Some manufacturers started fitting them on about 1971. And look at this, the good old orange roof vent, which was always a thing right over the kitchen unit here. Right, let's get round here. Oh, I remember these. These are again a common thing. These two, again, that one's cracked, but I mean, it is over 55 years old. They had this nylon thing here, this nylon moulded thing to open and shutting them. No stable door, simple catch. Let's get inside and have a look in. Oh, I'll get in here. What you do realise that Caravans were a lot lower down back in the day. So I suppose cars were as well, weren't they? Right. Just coming in, oh, it's just that whiz around. It's just taken me so far back. To when I was a kid looking around at Caravans, new Caravans at the day. And my first Lunars I saw were about a couple of months after Lunar had launched. And one of the first ones I saw was a 40'6" Caravan called the Moonlight, which they did pretty quickly after they launched the Jupiter and the Saturn. Right, now let's have a look. Let's just look at this front lounge first. So this would be two single beds. The table would come down in the middle and form a base to make this a double bed. And now this, as I say, is a two berth originally. That is a chest of drawers, but they've been put over here. And the reason is because the original owners that had this van had two young children and they wanted the end kitchen. So what Brian and Ken of Lunar did, who started up the company, they actually had it where they had two bunks on here. Now those bunks were there, I think, if I can remember, and this is where the fixing points were, but they've been taken out for some reason and not put back in. As I say, this van was under renovation at some stage and everything had to stop. Upholstery, the original upholstery is underneath that covering. It's had the 1980s style put on it, hence the curtains. Now the original curtains were with the van, as you can see, if you remember on that video. they were with the van, but we've not found them on this yet. So whether they've gone missing, I don't know. The lockers at the front here, proper wood veneer, look at that. You won't get much in those lockers, would you really? This day and age, too many people take too much stuff. Gaslight, again, this gas bulb globe here is gone. Again, retrofitted 80s fluorescent lighting. And basically, the other alteration is, again, by the owners, put to these shelves because there'd be nothing above these at all. You remember, people didn't take much with them in those days. And they've carried this on this side. You know, you can see, you know, husband and wife saying, we could do the shelf up there. I'll put one up, love, don't you worry. And I'll paint it so it matches the nice wood veneer. That was common back in the day. People would add things to even new caravans they would. What's we got here? If you put bits and odds and ends in there, looks like you could put cups in there, probably. All this original vinyl was all, I'll say, all very, very original. As I say, the story how Lunar got this was by a couple the original owners. They'd had it from new, undercover, under like a bit of a carport thing. Went up to Reed Caravan, said, well look, we can't caravan anymore, we're getting on, do you want to buy it? And they said, you probably scrap it. And they said, no, take it down to Lunar Caravans. And that's what they did. And at Lunar, they came out to look at it and they wanted it instantly, thank goodness. And they gave them exactly the same price as they paid for it new, about 360 quid I think it was. So yeah, that's that front end. And we've got here, there'd be a fitment there, and I'll show you that gas tap, you might better see it. Those gas taps are about £3 to fit, there's not much extra, and you just put a gas flame fire in there. So it like a heated element type thing, and they were pretty dangerous. You need ventilation. I think what's happened here as well is that someone's been obviously restained this wood, haven't they? And that's the original colour of the wood there, and that's where the mirror would have been. So, you know, the owners said we're going to make it look more modern. Look at the wardrobe. I mean, not a bad size even for that day. But this was a typical two-berth end kitchen layout, and you had keys. Now again, that wasn't on. You know, that was still something that was quite popular. Now I'm going to show you the kitchen. So let's get around to this kitchen area, and I'll do the loo as well actually, because I mean, look at the headroom there. I mean, I'm not tall, but if you were tall, I don't think people was tall in those, they probably weren't fed the same, I don't know. But in the kitchen area here, you've got the gas, another gas light here, so you and it's a Morco gas light, so Morco, a company still going there at Hull. But look at this here, this little bin that's cut there. That was so, when you had the gas light on, you could go on the loo and it would light the loo up as well. Again, some electrics here, probably that was a bit dodgy, that would have to be redone. I think someone's had a go at doing their own electrics, probably getting the owner. That's what you got, and again, thought I might have found any other bits and bobs, but no. It's all click cut, but look at these catches still working, still spring works all 50 odd years later. Now this is an interesting fact, I'm going to tell you the reason for this now. We've got the kitchen here. Now you're going to say, crikey, you know, we're children operating this kitchen. No, they weren't, but this is what you had to do. And this was an idea that was actually devised originally, I think, by Welton Caravans. And we've done a video on Welton, but one or two of the manufacturers copied it, and it was Knowsley and Lunar that did copy this idea. And that would go up like that. Now, there would be a stay at the back there. I don't know if those are there. I don't want to drop this because if it falls down, it's quite hefty. There you go. And that's what you got. And that would hold it up. Yes, there is a another one bit there. So you got a 2-burner hob, your grill, plastic sink. Stainless steel sinks didn't come in till about 1972, 73 onwards. But there were plastic sinks originally. Look at that. And it needs to, this caravan has just been laid up, as you can see. There's your tap, and it would have been a Whale foot pump or a Jupiter foot pump. I don't know where the foot pump is on that actually. Some of them had a hand pump, a hand pump to pump the water, cold water only. But that's how you got your height in here. And the reason for that was because back in the day, when you were towing a caravan, the idea, out of most saloon cars, you could see the vision right the way through. So you could see who was behind you, looking in your mirror, looking through the caravan, through the back caravan window. So with a normal height kitchen, you couldn't do that the same. So what they did, they devised this idea where the whole thing folded down flat. Cupboards under there, look. Drawers. Gosh. It all looks minute now, doesn't it? But there you go. So that's how that worked. Let's just stand back and see. Now, as I say, that idea was used by Knowsley Caravans, who the founders of Lunar came from in 1969. They left Knowsley Caravans at Wigan and started up in an old barn. Literally had no lighting. They just had no electric. They just literally built bits of the furniture at home and then brought it to the old barn which you rented, which they had to repair the roof because it was leaking, and built the first couple of Lunar vans there and took them to Barney Campbell at Campbell's Caravans, and they took them on, and the rest of the say is history. Back in the day we could do things like that. Things were simpler, weren't they? Now, while we're here, we'll go into the washroom, because it isn't really a washroom. I'll try and just, I don't know if I can. No, I don't want to. Just lift that up. Got a bit more light in there. Your little window there for ventilation. And you'd put your little El Sant loo on there. And that's what you'd do. You'd use that. And that would be your washroom. Very basic, but you didn't worry about such things back then. Shut that door. Love the keys. Keys, again, was always a sign of a little bit more upmarket as well. But as I say, yes, that is definitely the wood underneath there. Wow, yeah, just fancy staining it a different colour. But again, that was the 80s for you. Right, let's have a little look, little chat about this. This caravan is really needs preserving, and like I've said to you before, as an industry in this country, the British caravan industry has employed thousands upon thousands of people. It's made a lot of money for this country with exports, and yet we don't care about its heritage. This caravan is now up for sale. If you want some details on it, please contact me via the video, and then we'll get into touch, or go via the Caravan Industry Facebook page. That's probably the best thing, and message me. And but I tell you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be vetting people, because this has to go to a good home. It really has. It'd be ideal as for a classic car enthusiast. These are lightweight, so most cars can tow them. But it really does need to do that. But coming back into here after 15 years, it's like seeing an old friend again. And that sounds daft. I know you're going to think he's crackers, he's cracking up, he's gone, he's beyond help. Well, we've known that for a while, but he's beyond help. But I just think that this sort of history should be definitely preserved, and it needs to go somewhere. Ideally, it would be in a caravan showroom somewhere. That's where it needs to be. I mean, even more ideal would be in an enclosed museum like Bewley, and undercover, and lots of information put on about the caravan, about caravan in the 1960s. To me, we just do not look after them. Or maybe to the Heimer factory. I don't know. No, not Heimer factory. Heimer Museum in Germany. They've got different makes of caravans, and they're not just German manufacturer. So this caravan is up for sale, and as I say, contact me if you're sort of interested in it, but I want genuine people who are interested. No time wasters, nobody who's going to start making it into a burger bar or anything like that. This has got to be definitely kept as it is, and maybe even given some more TLC and got back to how it should be. I think there's a bit of rot possibly in the side door, but then, you know, as I say, after all these years, but these caravans were pretty simple to work on. So tell me, what do you think of this van? Do you like it? Because I do. But I tell you something, we're going to go up a few years now. We're going to go to 1972 after this video, and we're going to see the Lunar Venus. It's back again. A van that I thought had gone, but they're both back. I'm really pleased. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, tell me what you think, and just think, this is how caravanning used to be. And do you know what? It was far bloody simpler, but we just enjoyed it just as much. I can just remember being on a site and all the vans were all sort of this similar, older ones, but nobody bothered about electrics, and you went to the little toilet block if you had one on the site. And I'd go out and play, and you'd end up with other kids, and next thing you have a cricket team or a football team in the middle of the site, and yeah, different days, wasn't it? Different days. And this takes you back, but this caravan is definitely worth saving. And just a shame that Lunar aren't around anymore. Tragic, bloody tragic. I'm sorry, I don't normally swear, but it's tragic. Just love that. Right, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, and subscribe and like. Bye for now.